Hi there, this is ChristyL Blue, and I'm here to do crystal reading number 8. I just did a quick intro, and the wind invited itself into the room, so I had to go shut the door. So yes, it's June 19th, 2023, 5 months beyond my last crystal reading. I've been trying to do them more often, but the energy wasn't really the best. To be honest, and that was also coming through in the Field to Heal reading number 3. So I'm not going to talk about that negative energy, but Field to Heal reading number 3, and then also Earth is Magical. They both were kind of a little more edgy, which is interesting, but that also tells you that there are really difficult energies that Earth is going through right now. And so this is why I decided to do this type of crystal reading. We're going to be talking about water crystals. And I think this will actually help people become more acquainted with and more familiar with nature's beautiful magic that's the sacred geometry of life, that is what the Fibonacci sequence that I talk about in my Faith of the Seven spread reading a couple years ago. I've got that posted on my website, Science, Spirituality, Universe, City.info. So you can scroll down past the introduction part and you'll see it listed as one of the videos that you can watch. But the pine cone is also sacred geometry. This is the phi spiral. Okay, and so I'm teaching about earth science and the beautiful world that we must take care of, right? And there are male and female pine cones. So I also have some dolphins here, which reminds me of Lemuria and Atlantis, and also Hawaii, where I traveled regularly until I could not. But the water is a very soothing way to find some respite, even if it's in a shower. So I hope that you will think of ways to try to find some calm in this impending storm, okay? The winds, as I said, were kicking up today, and we know about the weather being controlled in heinous ways, so we, in order to help Mother Nature rebalance from what is happening to her and on this planet, we must find ways to help her regain her balance as well as ourselves, because we live on a water planet and our bodies are also predominantly comprised of water. So I'm going to talk about some of the philosophy behind Masaru Emoto and his research. And my background is geology, soils, and hydrology. So I'm able to teach about this in some unique ways, including incorporating hard crystals, if you will, not the water crystals, but what is formed with water at some point, or pressure and heat with fire, right? I have a bowl of water here for scrying, and I have a water fountain here with a little frog and lotus to help us with our chakras, opening up our chakras from the root and the sacral to the crown chakra. So we have the orange and red rose representative of the lower chakras, and the beautiful purple that is now blooming in the yard. And we've also got some of them represented here. So when I did a meditation earlier before I started this reading, I just asked Spirit how he would like to guide, she would like to guide me for this particular reading. Now, initially, I was going to use the crystal decks that I have, but what Spirit showed me was actually this very bowl that I had to pull off of a shelf that I tucked it away on, and to put some water in it. And Spirit made sure to show me the bowl going like this. So I'm going to see if there's anything that appears in this water dish while I talk about the water crystal cards that Spirit wants me to focus on. Now, I did a pre-shuffle before I meditated. I did it a couple days ago, actually, and I wanted to wait for the energy, if you will, to kind of die down. The winds have died down. It was supposed to actually thunder and lightning today, but that storm energy has somehow dissipated and moved elsewhere. And this is, I think, the calm after that months-long storm that I was talking about in my neck of the woods in the western United States. So yeah, I just felt, right before I started this, I filmed an interesting pendulum reading that I may share at a later time. But these numbers were also prominent around the time that I was prompted to do a crystal reading number 8. So we have the 8 here. And we have the 4, of course. A double 4 is 8. This is also 12, which adds up to a 3, which is representative of the Trinity. And then this as well is the 22nd, or 2-2. Can also be 8-4, 22, or 4-8, 22, right? So we're dealing with August and April in particular. And those months are, April 22nd is typically Earth Day, celebrated Earth Day in America. And 8 is about abundance, so we'll just do that. It also could correlate back 6 months from the full moon in Leo, which is February 22nd back to, February 2023 back to August 2022. And I was saying in that particular pendulum reading about this portal, the Lionsgate portal, from August of last year to February, the Leo lion energy into February 2023 is a cycle of 6 months. So, but we do know that the dark side is pushing an agenda, and that is the quote-unquote storm energy that I'm talking about, that I needed to wait for that energy to dissipate and move out of this area. So that's what I've done. I do have some notes here, which I'll probably do separately, but these are, as with any other reading that I do, it's as if certain pieces of paper with notes on them find their way to my table to be talked about at a certain time. And like I said, I was going to use a crystal deck, a tarot deck, but I'm guided to just focus on Oracle for this reading and not make it too long. And so I'll be getting into how these cards splayed out, as well as the secret card behind prescriptions. Okay, so I'm talking about water as a prescription, and also the issue of chemicals in our water in the quantities that should not be in there, and our dire need to hold people who are doing these things accountable, as well as challenging the fluoride being put into our water system for quote unquote, our teeth. They'll put mercury in our teeth for cavities, and they're also putting fluoride in our water for our teeth. But neither one of these things are good for us, okay? And so more people are getting the fillings taken out of their teeth. So they also need to take out the fluoride from water treatment because it's impacting the pineal gland, okay, the third eye that helps you move through the chakras to this higher lotus opening into your higher self, okay, where you can commune with the higher power, with the universe. Believe it or not, it's actually factual. So this is where Spirit has me getting into scrying. I haven't scribed before, but I was prompted through meditation with lapis lazuli in my right hand and iolite in my left. And these are the two colors represented in this dish, as well as the pinkish red and purple. So this is the bowl they want me to use. I may or may not be able to see what they're showing me, but this is something that I'm going to try along with the other skills that I've developed. I'm going to clear the space after talking about those details. This is called the Joy, Joy incense, sage. Now, some people online are saying sage is bad. How in the world can sage be bad? It's naturally grown. There's all kinds of superstitious things that people will get others to be afraid of so that they can be the voice of reason and the voice of power, which is really just control, okay? Sage is natural. It's what you do with it. It's like marijuana. The cannabis leaf is natural, but it's how it's being maligned and perceived, right? And this is how the human body is being maligned and perceived and manipulated. And skin color, maligned, perceived, manipulated, discriminated against. The anatomy, the breasts, the butt, the arms, the legs, I mean, you name it, pretty soon it will be illegal to be human. I mean, look at what's happening with the animals. So I'm also still collecting for hashtag help animals #2, donation of $5 or more if possible to help animals escape the confines they're being placed in and pumped full of drugs by Big Pharma in particular. but also at cruel animal care control facilities by people who are being educated, miseducated about how to treat animals almost like clockwork since 2010, 2011. Just when I was being increasingly maligned as well. So it's as if anything that is a representative of God's creations, which animals are, man doesn't create them. Man doesn't create woman. Man doesn't even create man. But somehow man wants to control everything that has been created by the higher creator. So does that make any sense? It does not. But a man that does make sense is Masaru Emoto, who's no longer with us. And I'm going to share some of his ideas with you to help you kind of shift your thinking, and you're thinking about being a water body in your human skin, right, with a soul that you want to protect, as well as your psyche, your spirit, keeping your spirits elevated to also help the earth, right? I think what I might pull in here too is a shaman card. I have been looking at these more. This came out, the medicine wheel, okay? This came out, and Time Master in a pre-shuffle I did the other day. So I'm going to just run these over the sage, and we will pull out on camera what the shaman wants to also say. Bottom of the deck right now is Rainmaker 42. And so I'll shuffle these real quick. I like these because they're nature cards as well. And it shows this symbology of the compass or full circle, and even represents, there's an X there, arrow pointing north and south, north node, south node, east, west and east. It's a compass, which I was going to say as well. So this is like a time compass. Hold on for just a minute.